Welcome to this session. And let me just quickly tell you what you can expect. We're going to have a quick look at where Copilot was a year ago, actually, because it's remarkable how far it's come. We're going to go to look at our journey. So Erica's just going to just show you a slide. We're not going to show many slides, and then you can just see our journey that we've come along. And then we're going to have a look at our everyday use, our personal experiences, the credibility of Copilot and its the evolution, driving adoption and change internally, because that's difficult for all of us, right? Our learning culture and capability, how we manage that. Then let's talk about maybe agents, what we're doing with that, and then the technology. Then myself, Emma, Amy, and Erica, we're going to just give you just 60 seconds of what our key learning is. Now, you know what I'd love? Because you don't want to come here and just listen to us talk, right? It'd be great in the chat if you'd comment, say what you think. If something catches your eye, if you've got something that you'd like to add, then pop that in the chat. That would be great. But first of all, let me just ask who we've got. So, just in case you don't know me, my name's Mark Thompson. I do Microsoft 365 adoption, really into Evergreen and what's new, and I'm the Copilot champion over at the Inform team. Who else do we have? Emma, you've got a different lens to me. What's your lens when we talk about these topics?
I think I've got a few different lenses, Mark, if I'm honest. So I'm one of the two directors of the Inform team, but I'm also an early adopter and very excitable pup about all things Copilot.
That is all true. Very excitable. And in fact, actually, I often find new content, folks, and I'm like, hey, everyone, look at this new feature. And Emma's like, yeah. Because Emma's got there. Right, let's get on. How about Amy? Amy Blakey.
Hi, thanks, Mark. So I'm Amy. My voice has gone this week and it's just coming back. So apologies if I sound very husky. I'm not normally this husky. I'm a change manager. I'm an employee of Inform. I'm currently contracted out at another company, but I am one of the earlier adopters from Inform. So not quite as early as Emma, our excitable pup early adopter, but I was part of the pilot group at Inform and now Copilot obsessed.
Very good. And Erica, our final point
Hi,
of view.
everybody. So I'm actually head of digital, which means I am a technologist. I love tech, which is a good thing at the moment. But I also love, more than that, what it can do for me. So not just the tech itself. So I think since all this technology erupted, for me, it's been just like a playground of stuff to find, and it just keeps coming thick and fast. So
yes, it does.
That's me.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So now you can see that we've got slightly different lenses and we have slightly different views on stuff. But I want to set the scene, and I just want to talk about some of the things that were happening a year ago. So I picked out some of my slides that I use for different things from November, December, and January last year. This will just give you a quick insight how much things have changed. Well, first of all, let's just go to that top one actually, up there. So being able to ground your M365 prompts in SharePoint and OneDrive, that was new just a year ago. Okay, what else has happened? I've been able to use Copilot to create your meeting notes directly on a OneNote page. We were still talking about BizChat. You've almost forgotten it, right? We're still talking about BizChat and the fact that it would make suggestions for you. How about this this witchcraft, creating charts and graphs, right? And that type of thing, that was new just a year ago. How about the ability to save your prompts? You wouldn't think twice now that you could do that, would you? We're only talking about 12 months ago, and being able to turn the web content on and off. So I don't want you to look at the web. You couldn't do that just a year ago. How about another one? Just the quick actions directly on your OneNote canvas. Sharing prompts. You couldn't do that just a year ago. So I just wanted to just talk about that, folks, just so you could see just how far Copilot has come in a year and how quickly we get used to stuff. And actually, what I'd like to do is I'm going to hand you over to Erica, because that's a snapshot of how far Copilot's come. But what about what we've done internally? And I think this will set the scene for what we're going to talk about afterwards. Erica, would you like to share your screen and then just take the next couple of minutes?
This is only one slide, by the way, so we're not going to try and kill everybody with PowerPoint, but it is quite a busy slide, so I'll talk you through it. Can everyone see my screen? So Early on in 2024 was when we first started thinking about Copilot, and we had our sales lead at the time saying, we've got to get some licenses, we've got to get some licenses. And we're like, well, what are we going to do with those licenses? Should we get some licenses? This is all a bit scary. So we got some licenses, and we gave them to a few trusted members of the organization, who, Emma for one, who could pretty much has access to all our information, and she could ethically hack everything for a bit of comfort. But we played around with them. So the license challenges, who to give them to, we just bought some, and we picked a few people, and we just got started. And we didn't think too long and hard about it. Now, I know lots of people have got past this stage now. Again, realized early, you don't need a detailed plan. You can't possibly have a detailed plan about your Copilot rollout at the very beginning, because you don't know what you don't know. So we kicked off a strategy. We put some, measures of success in place. Mark boldly came to the front here to help all the trainers upskill, including himself. Actually, Mark was one of the very, very first who was knocking on the door saying, can we get a license? Actually, I'll just buy my own license. I just want to crack on. So he was there from day one, banging on that. So quickly, though, we were all really, really excited. And then we realized there was lots of limitations, and it was like, oh, I can't do that. Computer says no, computer says no, computer says no. So, and we know this has massively evolved now, but it was very hard in those early days. But I think this is one theme all the way through. The limitations are still there, and you've got to know what they are in order to know how to make it useful. Then we bought some more licenses. So we're starting to build up that sort of adoption and sharing those experiences, building a community, doing all that good stuff, and just getting engagement and momentum. We then started to onboard some champions. We had a proper deployment kickoff where we had these weekly wave adoptions. We had a kind of a cadence of, get people signed up that were really keen and eager, do them a responsible AI, do. And we had like a weekly cadence for that, and that went on for a few weeks to get us up to 50 users. 50 licenses. So we kind of continued momentum with our brunch clubs that Mark's been doing for many months now, with continued success. Although during that we've had that opportunity to reinvent them a little bit and realize that needs to evolve. And he's continued to do that feed and water of the community, which is really important, and making sure the evergreen stuff comes through. So then the next bit suddenly feels like it all went a bit crazy. So last May, they bought out agents and a whole bunch of new product features, and things just went from strength to strength for us in terms of, but there was a lot to learn and a lot to take on. It was almost like we were teaching each other on every call what to do, because it was moving so fast. We then started thinking about agents, and I think this is the moment when the world suddenly got very big, I think, in terms of what agents can unleash for an organization. And it's an absolute minefield in some ways and exciting in others. And actually, we started this in June. We upskilled really, really fast, scarily fast, and we delivered what we called our Copilot Explorer Day to Inform, which was very much a company-wide event designed to help bring agent awareness and say, what is it? How could it help us? And do some of that upskilling. That day, I think we've still got some feedback actually from that day for various people who've said that was amazing, because it really got us up to speed quickly and could understand what it could do. And before that, it was just a black box of some things that people are talking about that seem a bit scary, and they're not really. But it's always sat in that tech black box over there for techie peoples, and it isn't anymore. So where are we now? We've got 98% license adoption, which means that we've got, of the 52 licenses that we have out there at the moment, they are being used actively. So Emma was like, what's the 2%?
Let's go get them.
I think it might be somebody on holiday. I think we're okay.
Yeah, that's great, Erica. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. Really, we are in agent land very much, and still looking into understanding that, and in Copilot world, still pushing all that through, and just trying to stay up to speed, right, Mark? I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, folks, when you look at that screen there, I bet a lot of you can relate
Oh.
to that. Okay, and it'd be great also if you had a look in the chat. Look, Yvonne's put a great thing. The 12 days of Copilot. I feel like I've missed an opportunity there. I love that, and share a course on there that people do as well, folks. It'd be great if you just put some comments in the chat about what your year has been like while we move on to our next topic. So the thing I want to talk about now is our everyday use and our personal experience. So, so Emma, Amy, Erica, anyone like think about our everyday use? Have you got anything that you'd like to share about your experiences? Oh, Emma was off
I'll
off
start.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
go for it,
start.
Emma.
So I've already mentioned I was one of our early adopters and our excitable pups for Copilot. And the reason being is that I very quickly saw the opportunity, selfishly on a personal level. Also, in terms of the organisation, I could see that it could drive efficiencies into our business, but also in terms of we've been doing Microsoft 365 since 2013 when it became a thing. So for a very, very long time, and Copilot is a natural evolution for us to delve into in terms of what we deliver and support our customers with. So I was looking at Copilot, I guess, through those three lenses. So personally, efficiencies within the business, and I'll go to market. So I strongly believe that you have to play with Copilot personally. You know, I use it for every single thing from planning a weekend away to looking at theatre tickets to planning a tube journey and whatever else. But I think that playing
And some work
with it.
stuff, yeah.
And some work stuff on the side, you know.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, Emma. So one of the things I do with my family is when they went camping in my house, I said, which one should I use? I said, use the Copilot. You use Copilot on your phones, the free version, because it might not be the best for all your needs, but if you're likely to use one at school or at work, it's likely to be Copilot. Just use the one. I personally use it, folks. I spend a lot of my time out on client sites. It's great to catch up and see what you've missed. Erica, I think you came off mute as well.
So probably similar to Emma, but it's something that Amy said, so I don't want to steal Amy's thunder, and I won't. But we were talking yesterday about how you have to kind of actively go to Copilot in the first, when it first comes out, you're actively going, and you might do something, it takes you 3 hours and go, damn it, I could have used Copilot for that. I don't even think about it. Like if somebody took it away from me, it'd be like taking away my laptop. It'd be like totally pointless.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
how much I use it and have embedded it into everything I do. But that has taken probably a year, I think.
Yeah. And that's interesting, Erica, actually, because I know that organizations that we've worked with, they run a Copilot and they do a little bit of training, and their adoption it doesn't happen straight away, does it? Because it takes such a
It
change.
does take
And
time.
it says,
It's a mindset
and-
switch, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what's interesting. Microsoft are helping because when it first came out, you had to actively go and do some typing, didn't you? And then remember that webinar we did for the passive use, the way it would just serve stuff up. And now it's really embedded everywhere. So we had a session just before this call, folks, some brand new features about where one of them that we talked about was that Emma loved, by the way, was the fact that you can select certain meetings that Copilot will automatically move around your calendar for you. Oh my goodness, like that sort of use is going to be amazing. Last one from Amy. Amy, anything for that before we move along?
Yeah, so I was going to say, off the back of what Erica said, actually, Copilot's kind of become the new Google. Remember when Google first came out? In fact, I think we probably used Yahoo before that. And it was, if you need a phone number for something, you check the phone book. Whereas now we don't even think about going on Google, what's the number for the Indian restaurant or whatever it is that you need it for. And it's a little bit like getting that muscle used to it. And when we first started at Inform with it, I was a little bit behind Emma and Erica. And I knew that I had it, I got given it. There were all these things that I could use it for work, but I'm actually contracted somewhere else. So most of my work is done somewhere else. So I actually said to Emma and Sam, I was like, can I use it for anything? Can I use it for personal stuff? And they were like, Amy, just play with it. And that is how I discovered all the things that I could do. And, one of the things that I used it for the other day, the M4 was closed when I needed to go along the motorway, but it was dark and I hate driving. I live in the middle of nowhere in Wiltshire. I hate driving down little B roads. And I knew that if I put it into my sat nav, that it was going to give me all those higgledy-piggledy B roads that go through Bath and around the back. So I just go in, how do I get from, I think I was Newport, to the middle of Wiltshire only on A roads because the M4 is closed, and it found it for me. Another friend of mine uses it, and we talk about Copilot quite a lot because she's also a bit of a Copilot geek, but she drives to meetings with work. And she's got so many things racing around in her head after the meeting. So on the drive on the way back, she just dictates to it and says, right, Copilot, I'm going to tell you all the things from my meeting. Please put these into coherent notes for me and any follow-up actions that I've got. And she just talks to it for 10 minutes. And by the time she gets back from her meeting, it's told her all of the things that happened in the meeting that was an in-person, and has managed to put them all into, okay, what do I need to do now when I get back? So it's playing with it and using it for all of those fun things. There's a million things that I use it for. I probably use it more out of work than in work, to be honest. And then when you know how to use it and play with it, that's when you can bring it back into the office. I think it's brilliant.
That's great, Amy. And does that make, when you start to use it, it's that blend across your life. Look out, folks, for a new feature coming to the Outlook app on your phone, where you can ask it just to give you a summary of different types of emails that you've got. So there's some new features coming to the mobile versions of the apps that are going to do a lot of that stuff that Amy's just described. Okay, so the next topic is credibility and evolution, and actually I only want one person to comment on this. Comment in the chat. As we change the subjects, folks, look at the chat. The chat's starting to pick up. But make sure you just tell us what's in there. If something catches your eye, give someone a thumbs up for what they've said. The next one is credibility and evolution. I'm going to spend just one on this, and I hope you don't mind, Damien. I'm going to pick on you because we talked about credibility. Think about the work that you do, and is it okay to use Copilot? Did you have something to say about that we discussed briefly yesterday?
So one of the things that always makes me laugh about Copilot is everybody wants you to use it at work. They've given you a license, they want you to use it, but then they don't want what you've made to look like it's come from Copilot. So it's almost like you can see something, oh, that looks like Copilot's done it, and people would almost be affronted that it's not your work. So I think the important thing is Copilot is amazing, but it has its own tone of voice. So there's so many things that you can use it for, but it can't replace your ability. So I'm a change manager. I also do lots of work in comms. It can't replace the knowledge and the understanding and the emotions and the knowledge that I have. So I could go and ask it to create a comms pack for me and send it out. It's quite clear that it's from Copilot. But it will have saved me hours of work in sentence structure, storytelling, how we write it. Somebody's put in the comments about changing it for a different audience. That's one of the biggest things that I use it for, because as a change manager, you've often got to communicate with senior leaders, PAs, different groups, different ages, and it's able to make the language different for each one of those and the content slightly different as well for what people need to hear, but it has to be put into the right tone of voice for your organization, into the way that you would say it, and it can't do the things that we can do as people. So it's not going to overtake us, but it's absolutely needs our input to make that to make it credible, really.
I think if that's got a good points there, Amy. It's still your work. It's still your work, isn't it? If I'm doing a guide, say on, someone asked me about a quick guide for the ins and outs of like the page history in SharePoint or something like that, or the versioning, I will go straight to Copilot. But because I understand the content, I have to check it, I reword it, and I phrase it for my audience. It's still my work. There was a time when you wouldn't use a calculator, well, and the person's done his mathematics using a calculator. You wouldn't dream of not using Excel or calculator now, would you? But you still have to understand mathematics. It's still your work. Copilot's just going to become that. Folks, let's move along to driving adoption. Everyone on the call, how do you drive adoption in your organization? How do you manage change internally? So, okay, Amy, any thoughts on how we've driven in adoption internally? It's a big challenge, isn't it? And it does need some work. Anyone got any thoughts on how we've done that?
I think from my perspective, it's AI is obviously brand new tech, and we're all learning as we go along. But actually, the fundamentals of change. I'm stealing your thunder now, Amy. But the fundamentals of change still apply. The AI still needs constant reinforcement. We need to constantly remind our users, our communities of people, that it's there to help you, because it's so easy for lots of our people to just retreat back into the day-to-day and forget that they need to spend it, because it does take a bit of effort. Copilot Copilot, getting on board with it, learning it, using imagination. You know, it does take effort, and you do have to apply. You have to apply that time. So yeah, for me, it's that rule of seven, isn't it? That old marketing rule of thumb, that somebody needs to see something 7 times before it lands. And I do feel that is appropriate for Copilot. It needs that constant reminder that it's there.
Yeah.
One of the things I think I was thinking about the other day is that this isn't a tech story at all. It is definitely, and I know we do change, so that we are, and we talk about this sort of stuff a lot. So maybe it's easier for us than other companies to employ some of that thinking much more innately than others would. But the last mega tech transformation was quite a long time ago now. And over the last, what was that? That was probably 5G, or, you know, broadband. That was the last mega disruption, right? This is different because we have been living constant change in technology for a long time, but AI requires us to think differently to interact with it. It's not like anything else, and that requires change, and it requires self-disruption, I think. And it's the exploration and the curiosity that I think is key, and it's giving people the opportunity and the space to do that is really important. And I think that's what we've done well is, you know, as you said, Amy, just go and play with it. Somebody says, just go, okay, are you sure? I could just go and play with it. I'm just going to go and mess around with some tech. I think that is a big story here, is giving people the time to be curious and act on it.
Yeah, I think that's good points, everybody. And just to wrap up this topic, some of the things that we did internally, we ran the Great Copilot journey. Now, it's not a perfect fit for everyone, but every single morning, with this tool, a task went out, and every day someone could do a task and learn a little bit. And we ran that over 6 weeks, and someone looked after that. We have regular almost every week or every second week, we talk about what's new across Copilot and Microsoft 365. And to start with, we had 2 Copilot brunch clubs a week. Now we put that down a little bit, but you've got to make an effort, haven't you? Okay, folks. So I love the comments in the chat. Everyone keep looking at those. There's as much happening there as there is on the call. Okay, so we're going to very quickly talk about the learning culture and capability. So it's a bit like this and adoptions are closely related. Does anyone have any views about the learning culture in an organization? Has that changed? Or should it change? How do you manage capability? Anybody got any thoughts on that?
I think, yeah, loads and loads.
Yeah,
we could be here all day.
We should have made this one an hour. I mean, everyone would have dropped off the call, but we could have talked about it for an hour, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
No, go on, Erica, you go.
No, I was just saying, Mark, I think you've done a wonderful job. And I know this is going to embarrass you and make you feel a little bit, you know, ooh. I do think that your brunch clubs and your constant reinforcement, and you've been so good at staying on top of the evergreen stuff. Your posted on Monday, I loved, where you right click on OneDrive and do create agents. Like, that's amazing. I didn't know anything about it and I should be on top of it, but it's exhausting, right? And I think you do a great job of championing that and driving it. So everyone needs a you.
That's very kind of you. Okay. Sure. But that brings a good point, actually. Every organization, you need somebody to own this and to work with a community. Communities, there's lots of people on this call now that I know really well from a community and one of our big government clients. And the community creates so much. It's so amazing. So build a community. Folks, let's get a bit of a wriggle on. Let's get a bit of a wriggle on and talk about agents. I just want to talk about agents for literally maybe just 1 or 2 minutes. And I think I'm going to go to Erica. Have you got a view on agents? Do you think, are they any good? Are they worth people paying attention to? Apart from the big part of your day job, give us a 60-second overview why people in the call should be looking at agents.
Next Wednesday. We're on half day next Wednesday.
I love that, Jenny, but I'm just going to pop you on. We're going to pop you on mute. And Erica, why don't you just tell us all about agents?
Do you know what? If you'd have asked me this 3 months ago, I'd have been stuttering around, I think. What is great right now is agents are now working hard in the personal productivity space, and that everyone who has a 365 Copilot license can essentially create their own agents in Copilot Lite. Straight away, you can't get yourself into any trouble at all. You can't accidentally cost the company loads of money because one prompt kicks off to 27p fee every time. You can't. So I'd encourage everybody to do that. So that personal productivity thing wasn't there 6 months ago. It was very much Copilot Studio. It was still in quite the technical space. It's not. It's much more. You can unleash yourself on it and go for it. There is the technical element of agents, which personally I think we're all trying to figure out what the world looks like with agents. And how it integrates into the workflows across the organization. We know it's a game changer. We just don't have a strategy yet in terms of exactly what that looks like. But I think it's just starting to infuse it in the right places at the right time for the right amount of value. And that's where it is. But it's just more tech, right? So hopefully to the average user, and a company putting out agents is just increasing the user experience, and it should almost go unnoticed.
Yeah, I like
if
it.
done well.
Yeah, yeah, you're great. And I think agents, I suspect that regular Copilot is just going to become, like, as in M365 Copilot rather than Copilot Chat. M365 Copilot is just going to become part of Microsoft 365. That's what I think. And I think that agents will become the premium part of it that you pay for. I suspect that most of it will become free very soon. Folks, we need to start wrapping up. Key learning in 45 seconds, Emma. 45 seconds. What would you say?
Yeah, the pressure. For me, I think the thing that I've observed over the past year is that Copilot rewards good Microsoft 365 behaviors. So if you're not working out loud, if you're having siloed one-to-one chats in chat versus channel, often Copilot doesn't pick those up. So the times where people have had a little whinge to me, and no, it's not working as it should do, it didn't pick that thing up. Well, where did you communicate about that thing in a one-to-one chat with somebody? Of course, it can't pick it up across the team. So yeah, I think that the foundation of good Microsoft 365 behaviors is really important to harness the power of Copilot.
Erica.
I'm going to embarrass Emma now, and she's going to hate me for it. But actually, I think if you're all leaders, lead by example, do the thing, because actually what Emma did well is she unlocked the rest of us, because she was so on it and goes, I'm really excited. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Come on, guys, go. Ah! It was almost impossible to keep up with her, if I'm honest. But we knew that we had to. So she dragged us with her, I think, an element. But I think it was really important. And then the last thing is, in that same breath, you've got to self-disrupt in order to really do this well and really bake it into your day. You have to self-disrupt. So if you could put a post-it note on your screen or on your desk today saying Copilot first, think about whether you could use it, because that's the mindset you're going to have to try and switch into.
Amy.
Big takeaways from me, change your settings. There are settings, you can get it to sound like you can get it to start and finish sentences like you can get it to use abbreviations, commas, no M dashes, no emojis, not start emails in a certain way. Go in and change it in your settings. It's super simple to do. And as somebody, I would describe myself as not technical. I work in tech, but I'm not a very technical understanding person. The Agents Day that we had with Inform stopped agents from sounding petrifying and something that happens in a back end that, like, developers do. Agents are so simple, and I've created my own HMRC agent on that day. It took me about 5 minutes. They are so simple and easy to do. So demystifying them is the trick to that, because literally anybody can use it. They are so simple and so clever.
Yeah, really good point there. So Copilot memory and the instructions. If you don't know what that is, go and check it out, folks. Someone said in the chat that I'm showing my age. I'm not sure what that was about. I've got a lot of age going on. So what I want to say to you before we go on to this last slide is that people who do this professionally, we struggle with keeping up, and we struggle to adopt it, even though we live in it. I want you to be kind to the people in your organization. Make it easy for them to adopt. Constantly feeding, and if they're not adopting it as quickly as you might like, then forgive them and just find another way. Like, think about brunch clubs, think about communities. They're super busy. Someone said in the chat, people are so busy. So just be kind to people who aren't adopting it and just find another way. Microsoft just released a functionality where you can go behind the scenes and you can target people with messages who've got low Copilot adoption. Maybe support them that way. Folks, a webinar wouldn't be the same without a little plug for something at the end. This stuff is difficult, and actually we can help you. You can see on my screen now, because of our privileged position that we've got with Microsoft, we can access funding for you, and it is genuinely funded by Microsoft for you. And if you engaged with us and you asked us to help you do this, and it turns out you can't have the funding, you wouldn't pay anything. Emma, can you just talk about that for 60 seconds? Because you spend so much time on this type of stuff. You got actually 30 seconds, and then we're going to wrap up.
30 seconds. Okay, yeah. So the Microsoft funding is it's a co-funding solution to support whereby we can support our customers to move the needle on Copilot adoption. So if anybody is struggling with that, it's free money. Who doesn't like free money? You know, we can support you with that. We can do a quick check in like 10 seconds for you. So if anybody wants to reach out and see if they're eligible, we can check that very quickly for you.
Emma, you got 10 more seconds. How did you check so quickly? What tool do you use to check quickly?
I know what you're getting to. So are you talking about my agent?
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Have you got an agent for this task that would
nice
normally take you like a million hours?
Didn't know that was coming. So Microsoft kindly published to all their partner community a document called the Incentives Guides. It's up to about 189 pages. So as you can imagine, being a partner, consuming that volume of content and understanding the funding principles and eligibility is quite a task. So in our Agent Explorer Day, which Amy mentioned, we built a funding friend, we called it, which is a Copilot agent and still exists to this day.
Very good, thank you, Emma. Folks, we were going to have some time for Q&A at the end, but unfortunately I've gone over by 120 seconds. Hopefully you'll forgive me. Those of you who know me, you know I hate things that run over, but actually there's just so much to say, and we've crammed in maybe a little bit too much. But I want to thank you for coming to the session. I hope you enjoyed it. I can see from the chat there's lots going on in there. And we'll have a look at the chat afterwards. So I'm going to wrap up, folks. I want to thank Emma, Erica, and Amy for coming along and doing this with us. I also want to thank every single person that's come to the session, whether your contribution was coming off mute, or whether you just liked someone's chat, or you're just in the background just observing. I want to thank all of you for coming along. Hopefully we'll join see one of one soon. But for now, folks, we're done, and I hope to see you on another session soon.
Thanks all. Bye bye.
Thanks everybody.